Hey everyone, this is going to be a quick tutorial. Well, hopefully it's pretty quick. Going over some of the basics of Orca. I think primarily what I'm going to concentrate on are the preferences because I've had at least two people ask that I cover this, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm using Orca in Linux Mint, which currently, since we're using Mint 22, is stuck on version 46. Now, Orca 48 is in RC, so hopefully it should be released soon. But I don't think you're going to see new versions of Orca by default anyway until Mint is upgraded to 23, which won't happen until next year, probably in July. So, there's a few things that I want to cover. First thing is you can hit the Orca modifier with H. So because I'm using my MacBook Air, I'm using caps lock. So I'm going to hit caps lock H.
Screen Reader version 46.1. Entering Learn mode. Press any key to hear its function. To view the screen reader's documentation, press F1. To get a list of the screen reader's default shortcuts, press F2. To get a list of the screen reader's shortcuts for the current application, press F3. To exit Learn mode, press the Escape key.
So this is your standard keyboard help. You can press keys on the keyboard.
A, B, C, D, E, F, I, J, G.
I can press different commands. So if I do caps lock S.
S. Toggle the silencing of speech.
Let's try caps lock T.
T. Present current time.
We'll use a custom command I've defined, caps lock and equals.
Equal sign. Increase the speech rate. Hyphen. Decrease the speech rate.
That's dash. That command, by the way, I believe is only temporary, so it only affects your current session until you change applications. So you can do things like that. If you hit F1, which because I'm using this Mac, I have to hold down the FN key. So I'll hold down FN and hit F1.
F1. F-frame.
Now we are in the documentation. If I tab.
Welcome to Orca, introducing the Orca screen reader link.
Now, this is a bug, I believe, with the current version of the package that handles help contents, because if you go into the help system for Mate itself, you have the same problem. You can tab around.
The Orca modifier, a key that works like Shift, CTRL, and Alt link. The Orca modifier.
You can jump by headings, like if I press H.
Reading documents and web pages, heading level 2. Reviewing and interacting with screen content, heading level 2.
But if I up and down arrow or try to right and left arrow, it doesn't do anything. The solution right now, until we get some updated packages, I believe, which again probably won't happen until Mint is upgraded to the next major version, is to enable caret browsing with F7. So I'm going to hold down FN and hit F7. It doesn't say anything, but now if I down arrow.
Where am I learning about your location link? Where am I? E, H, capital W, H, E, R, E, space, capital A, M, am, capital I, learning about your.
You can move by character, word,
your,
line, using all the same keyboard commands that you would expect. So that is what I would recommend doing if you want to read help contents in this default help program in Linux.
Desktop, trash.
Mint. I'm going to, so I just closed that with Alt FN F4, or technically because I'm using a Mac, it's Option FN and F4. Let's go back into Learn mode.
Screen Reader version 46.1.
hit F2.
Entering F84 Screen Reader default shortcuts found dialog. Tree table. Route the pointer to the current item. Caps lock +9. Tree. Perform left click on current flat review item. Caps lock +7.
So if you want to learn the commands, you can come in here and you can browse this list. It's a very long list. Now, if I hit home, which is FN and the left arrow.
Default expanded. Tree level 1.
These are categories to expand and collapse things.
Key binding. Command default expanded. Route the pointer. Key binding caps lock +9.
Wait, does this work? No, it does not. Okay.
Command route the pointer to the current item. Tray
So,
level 2.
yeah, so in this list, you can arrow right and left
Key binding caps lock +9.
to go to the different columns.
Perform left click on current flat review item. Caps lock +7. Command key binding caps lock +7. Command perform left click on current flat review item. Tray level.
So that's a pretty standard thing in lots of places in these graphical environments. You can right and left arrow between the different columns in a list.
Default
But
expand.
what I want to show you, if I go to default and hold down shift with the left arrow,
Collapsed.
it closes that group of controls. So now I can down arrow.
Learn mode expanded.
Here are the controls for learn mode.
Enter learn mode. Press escape to exit learn mode. Caps lock +H. Tray level 2. Object details expanded. And learn mode collapsed.
Again, you can collapse these with shift and the left arrow, and you can expand them with shift and the right arrow.
Expanded.
Like that.
Collapsed.
Now I know this was in reference, this initially I believe came up because there was some discussion in one of my other demos about using the BT Speak. And for those of you that don't know, the BT Speak is it's like a Braille computer. It's like the old Braille and Speak from the 80s, which, yes, I am too young to have been around. I know. Those of you, feel free to wield your your age superiority over me. That's fine. That's great. But it's basically a combination of the old style Braille and Speak with that type of interface combined with a modern Linux computer. So it's basically a small pocket computer that has a Braille keyboard. But you'd have to look at the lists of commands to see what the QWERTY keys map to on the Braille keyboard. But basically, it has a graphical environment, which is using Mate, which is the same as what we're using here. You just have to either connect a keyboard to it to use it, or learn all the Braille key mappings. So anyway, all that being said, yeah, the commands on a device like that will be different and will take some time to get used to. But if you can translate these commands into the Braille equivalent, I think you'll be good to go.
Default collapsed.
So basically,
learn mode collapsed.
These are the different categories here in the keyboard help.
Object details expanded. Read the attributes associated with the current text character. Caps lock +F. Tray level 2.
So you can experiment with these as you wish, and you may find it useful to learn the different commands. So I'm going to hit escape.
Desktop. Trash.
And let's, well, the only other thing in help mode is F3, which shows you the current keyboard commands for the current program, and I don't think that'll work here in the file manager, which is called Kaja, I believe, in Mate. So the next thing I want to show you are the preferences themselves, and there's actually two ways to get into preferences. Control caps lock spacebar goes into application specific preferences, and caps lock spacebar goes into the general preferences. From what I can tell, the application specific preferences only work in very certain cases, like if you're using a web browser like Chrome or Firefox. The settings only apply. There will basically be a special tab in this dialog box after the last one, and you can customize things. But like, I was thinking you could say, like, go into Firefox and bring up the application preferences specific to it, change the voice, and then save that, but it doesn't seem to work properly. So I'm not sure if it's bugged in this version or if that's not how it's meant to work. But I'll get to that in a bit here. So I'm going to hit caps lock space. Again, keep in mind the Orca key can be caps lock or insert.
Screen reader preferences dialog. General page tab.
And here we are in the screen reader preferences dialog. This is a standard multi-page dialog box that you would expect in Windows and things like that. So I can right arrow between the tabs. I can go to the left. If I hit Control Tab.
Help push button. Apply. OK. General page tab.
Actually, that does not work.
Help push button.
Okay, well.
Cancel. OK push. General page tab.
All right, well, you can't Control Tab around here, so just don't. Yeah, I don't think that works. So let's take a quick look here. So I'm on the General tab.
Keyboard layout. Laptop. Selected radio button.
This is your keyboard layout. This customizes the different commands depending if you have a laptop or a desktop. If I up arrow.
Desktop. Selected radio button.
You have desktop and laptop.
Laptop. Select speak updates checkbox not checked.
These next controls are related to progress bars.
Braille updates checkbox not checked.
And actually, now that I think about it, I should probably turn on the setting that announces panels so that it reads the different groups as we come to them. So give me just a second and I will do that. Okay, I think I've changed the settings. Let's go back in here.
Screen reader preferences dialog. General page tab. Keyboard layout panel. Keyboard layout. Laptop. Selected radio button.
There we go. So now it will tell us more information about groups and things like that. I usually keep this off because I find it slows me down hearing a bunch of unnecessary info, but since this is kind of a newbie tutorial, we'll keep this on.
Progress bar updates panel. Speak updates checkbox not checked.
So I have this off. You can have it speak progress bar updates.
Braille updates checkbox not checked.
Braille them.
Beep updates checkbox checked.
And beep, which is what I prefer.
Frequency 6. 5 spin button.
This is I think you can either type in here or you can up and down arrow. This, I believe, controls how often the progress bar updates will be given to you in seconds, and I prefer to set this at 5.
Applies to combo box application.
You can apply this to the application,
all application window,
or the current window.
Application.
I believe all would make them global, which actually I think I'm going to change that.
All. Mouse panel. Present tooltips checkbox checked.
This is stuff for the mouse. I do recommend turning on tooltips because sometimes you can get some very useful information. So if there are tooltips, the screen reader will read them.
Speak object under mouse checkbox not checked.
I don't want that on.
Time and date panel. Time format. Combo box. 9:45 p.m.
There are different choices in here.
9:45 and 49 seconds p.m. 21 hours, 45 minutes, and 49 seconds. 21 hours, 45 minutes, and 49 seconds. 21:45. 21 hours and 45 minutes. 9:45 p.m. 9:45 and 49 seconds p.m.
So those are your choices.
9:45 and 49 seconds. 9:45 and 49 seconds p.m.
Wait, what's the difference?
9:45 and 49 seconds p.m.
There's 2 different choices there.
9:45 p.m.
Yeah, we'll just keep it at there.
Date format, combo box. Saturday, March 15, 2025.
Same thing for the date. So if I go all the way up to the top.
3/15/2025. 15/3. 3/15. 15/3/2025. 3/15/2025. 2025/3/15. Saturday, March 15th. Saturday, March 15th. Saturday, March 15th, 2025. Saturday, March 15th, 2025. 2025. Saturday, March 2025. March 15th, Saturday. Saturday, March 15th. Saturday, March 15th. Saturday, March 15th, 2025. Saturday, March 15th, 2025.
Wait, are we done?
2025. March 15th, set. Saturday, March 15th, 2025.
Yeah, so there's different ways to announce those.
Say all panel. Enable rewind and fast forward and say all checkbox checked.
This is kind of cool. If you are using read all or say all, as Orca calls it, if you arrow around, say you go back up a couple lines, it will repeat what it just said and then continue reading.
Enable structural navigation and say all checkbox checked.
Structural navigation in Orca, basically think of that like browse mode in NVDA. It's what you use to navigate HTML content using keys like H for heading, K for link, and things like that. So if you want that to apply in say all, you can do that. So like if you're having it read and you jump to the previous heading, it will begin reading from where you just moved to. If you go to the next heading, it will do that.
Announce block quotes and say all checkbox not checked.
Now we get to a lot of the verbosity stuff that I personally turn off. For those of you that use NVDA, this is very similar to the document formatting settings. You can control which items the screen reader will read when you're navigating through web content. Now this is specific to say all.
Announce forms and say all checkbox not checked.
Which again, I would personally turn these off because if you just want it to read things, you may not want to hear the extra information.
Announce landmarks and say all checkbox not checked. Announce lists and say all checkbox not checked. Announce panels and say all checkbox not checked.
Now panels, I'm not entirely sure what panels are, but I think they're like groupings. Because as you can tell, I have the global option turned on and it's reading the different groups as I move to them.
Announce tables and say all checkbox not checked.
So these all pretty much explain themselves. If you want these items to be indicated as you're reading instead of just having it read the text, you can check these.
Say all by combo box sentence.
I think this controls how say all reads, but I'm not entirely sure. Again, you might want to check the documentation.
Profiles panel. Active profile combo box default.
You can make profiles, so if you make a profile and then you load it, you can customize the preferences in here. And when you hit OK or apply, it will save those settings.
Load push button.
You can load a profile, so if you choose a profile in the combo box, you can load it.
Save as push button.
If you've customized the settings to a specific way, you can hit the Save As button and create your profile.
Remove push button.
You can delete it.
Startup profile combo box default.
This is the profile that Orca will use when you turn it on. Again, I just have it set to default right now.
Help push button. Apply push button. Cancel push button.
You got a help button, apply, cancel,
OK push button.
and OK. Apply, as you can probably guess, will apply the settings and keep the dialog open. Cancel closes it without saving your changes, and OK closes it and saves your changes.
General page tab. Voice page tab.
Now we go to voice.
Voice type settings panel. Voice type combo box default.
You can change the voice type here.
Uppercase. Hyperlink. System. Hyperlink. Uppercase. Default.
If you want different attributes for different types of voices, you can do that. Default, I think, is just what you generally hear.
Uppercase.
Uppercase, obviously, is for capitals.
Hyperlink.
Hyperlink, I think that's for links.
System.
And system is probably for screen reader specific messages that don't appear on the screen.
Upper default.
Like maybe if you hit commands like Orca E.
Default button not found.
That's probably considered a system message, not default. But I don't know that for certain. like I said, this is not comprehensive. This is just me taking you through this and explaining things the best way I know.
Speech system, combo box, speech dispatcher.
Now, speech dispatcher, this is the only choice in here. Speech dispatcher is the text-to-speech system in Linux. Think of it like Microsoft SAPI or Speech API in Windows, or I forget what they call it in Mac OS, but it's basically the system that handles text to speech.
Speech synthesizer, combo box, default synthesizer.
All right, now you can choose your synthesizer here. Now, I have a couple installed.
Voxin.
Voxin is what I'm using right now. This is using a vocalizer Ava. Well, I guess it's not called vocalizer anymore. It's called Sarence, or I don't even know what they call their crap anymore.
Speak-ing. Append talk.
OpenJTalk, I don't know what that is. That comes with the system, but don't choose that because if you do, you'll lose speech.
Speak-ing.
So in this case, I have
Voxin
and eSpeak NG, which of course, eSpeak comes with like every single Linux distribution, so that's the default.
Default synthesizer.
Just leave this back on default.
Language, combo box, NUS.
You can choose the language. I only have one here because I'm using Voxin. English, US.
Person, combo box, default voice.
Again, right now, Orca is using the default speech dispatcher preferences, and I don't know how to change those. You probably do that through the command line.
Ava ML embedded premium.
So,
default voice.
Again, the only voice I have on here is Ava, but if you have more voices, you can choose them.
Capitalization style, combo box, none. Icon, spell, icon.
Capitalization, I believe if you choose icon, it'll play a sound for capitals, and spell
none.
Will spell them. I'm just going to leave this at none and let the text-to-speech engine control it. Or the uppercase profile for your voices.
Rate, horizontal slider 55, 55.
This is the speech rate. You can use up, down, right, and left.
54, 53, 52, 51, 55, 56, 55.
To change the rate.
Pitch, horizontal slider 4, 4.5.
This is pitch. Again, I'm not going to mess with these.
Volume, horizontal slider 4, 4.5.
Volume. With Vocalizer, I do recommend turning down the volume because it does clip by default.
Global voice settings panel. Break speech into chunks between pauses. Checkbox checked.
Okay, I'm not totally sure what these control.
Speak multi-case strings as words. Checkbox not checked.
Speak multi-case strings as words. I think this, if you have certain words that have different cases, in terms of capitalization, it will speak them as words if it's checked or not. Again, I'm not totally sure what these do. I don't really mess with them.
Speak numbers as digits. Checkbox not checked.
Speak numbers as digits. Obviously, this is self-explanatory. Right now, it's off, so it's going to speak them as words. But if you always want to hear the individual digits, you can check this.
Help push button. Apply. Voice page tab. Speech page tab.
Let's move on to the speech tab.
Enable speech. Checkbox checked.
I do not want to turn this off. If I turn this off, it would be very bad.
Verbosity panel. Verbosity. Brief. Selected radio button.
This is the verbosity control. You have brief and verbose.
Verbose. Selected radio button. Brief.
I'm going to go back to brief. I think this controls how much information you hear generally when you're navigating. For example, if I set this to verbose and went to the desktop, it would say trash icon instead of just trash. And again, in most cases, because I'd say I am an advanced screen reader user, I prefer to hear as little information as I can, just because it cuts down on time spent having to listen to things. But the beauty is one person's verbosity or one person's extreme verbosity is a treasure, and in my case that's trash. So the great thing is you can customize things the way that you want.
Punctuation level panel. Punctuation level. Some. Selected radio button.
This is standard for most screen readers. You've got
None.
none,
Some. Most. All.
none, some, most, and all.
Some.
This
Selected
controls
radio button.
how much punctuation you hear.
Spoken context panel. Only speak displayed text checkbox not checked.
Again, I wouldn't recommend checking this box. I believe it only speaks displayed text on the screen. Probably only useful for low vision people that might want to use this to help them read.
Speak blank lines checkbox checked.
Speak blank lines. Again, I have this on just because I like to hear blank.
Speak indentation and justification checkbox not checked.
If you have indentation in documents and things like that, you can have it speak that.
Speak misspelled word indicator checkbox checked.
Misspelled words.
Speak object mnemonics checkbox not checked.
I think this controls the hotkeys that you hear, which I can actually check this.
Checked.
And hit option A.
Punctuation level panel. Punctuation. Spoken content. Speak blank lines. Speak indentation. Speak misspelled word. Speak object mnemonics checkbox checked. Speak child position.
Wait, let me hold on. Let me go.
Help. Apply. Cancel. Apply. Screen reader settings reloading.
Hit apply.
Cancel push button. Alt plus C.
Yeah, okay. So.
OK push button. Alt plus O.
Yeah, see, so now it's reading the hotkeys.
Speak misspelled. Speak object. Speak child. Speak object mnemonics checkbox checked. Alt plus K. Speak child position checkbox not checked. Alt plus O.
Child position, this will read where you are, like 2 of 10, if, say, you're in lists and things like that. Again, I find this is too much verbosity.
Speak tutorial messages checkbox not checked.
I think this tells you how to interact with some controls. Again, I have a lot of this stuff off because I know what I'm doing typically, and I don't want the screen reader to give me too much information.
Speak description checkbox checked. Alt plus D.
I'm not sure what that does. I think it might just speak. Well, yeah, I'm not sure. Like I said, I don't know what every single one of these things does.
System messages are detailed checkbox checked. Alt plus S. Speak colors as names checkbox checked. Alt plus P. Announce block quotes during navigation checkbox not checked. Alt plus Q.
Now, here we are. These are the controls. These are the same as the controls for say all, except these apply globally. And again, I have the vast majority of these turned off.
Announce forms during navigation checkbox not checked. Alt plus F. Announce landmarks during navigation checkbox not checked. Announce lists during navigation checkbox not checked. Announce panels during navigation checkbox checked. Announce tables during navigation checkbox checked. Speak full row in GUI tables checkbox checked. Speak full row in document tables checkbox checked. Speak full row in spreadsheets checkbox not checked. Help push button. Alt plus H. OK. Speech page. Braille page tab.
These, okay, so here we are in Braille.
Enable Braille support checkbox checked. Alt plus S.
Now, Orca's Braille support is pretty limited. It's not that great from my experience. You can read contracted Braille, but you can only type in computer Braille. And I don't know if Bluetooth Braille displays work. I've only tried this with USB.
Display settings panel. Disable end of the line symbol checkbox checked. Alt plus E.
Yeah, I have this on because there's a symbol that displays at the end of the line.
Abbreviated role names checkbox checked. Alt plus A.
This specifies if you want the abbreviated role names like BTN or the word button shown on your Braille display.
Enable word wrap checkbox checked. Alt plus W.
Word wrap, I believe, keeps text from being broken across multiple lines. specifically words. So I tend to keep this on because I don't want to read parts of words and then have to pan the display to see the rest of the word.
Enable contracted Braille checkbox checked. Alt plus E.
Yep, we want that on generally.
Contraction table, combo box. U.S English grade 2. Alt plus T.
I'm old school. I don't really care about UEB. So I'm using US Braille. But you can...
U.S English grade 1. U.K English grade 2. U.K Polish grade 1.
You got different language.
Welsh grade 1. Welsh grade 2. AFR ZOG. AFR R as in G1. A in G1. B in G1. Bell.
Actually, you might be able to choose unified. I'm just not sure where it is.
Flash message settings panel. Enable flash messages checkbox checked. Alt plus M.
Flash messages. These are the messages that appear on your display for a few seconds and then go away.
Messages are detailed checkbox checked. Alt plus D.
Again, I'm not totally sure what these are.
Messages are persistent checkbox not checked. Alt plus P.
If you want it to remain on the display until you dismiss it, you can do that.
Duration 6. 5 spin button. Alt plus U.
This is how long you want the messages to remain on your display.
Verbosity panel. Verbosity. Verbose. Selected radio button.
Excuse me.
Alt plus B.
I had to burp. This is Braille verbosity. I think this is the same as speech.
Selection indicator panel. Selection indicator. Dot 7 and 8. Selected radio button. Alt plus D.
This is the selection indicator if like text is highlighted.
Dot 8. Dot 7 and 8. Hyperlink indicator panel. Hyperlink indicator. Dot 7 and 8. Help push button. Braille page tab.
So those are the Braille settings.
Echo page tab.
This next control, as you can guess, handles keyboard echo.
Enable key echo checkbox not checked. Alt plus K.
That's the master setting, so I have it all off. But
enable echo by character checkbox not checked. Alt plus R.
If you want more granular control, you can do that. So you can do echo by character.
Enable echo by word checkbox not checked.
Word.
Enable echo by sentence checkbox not checked. Help push button. Alt plus H. Echo. Enable key echo checkbox not checked.
Actually checked.
Checked. Enable alphabetic keys checkbox checked. Alt plus A.
Yeah, so if you enable key echo, you get more options, and then you can turn the ones that you don't want off. Alphabetic keys, these are obviously keys A to Z.
Enable numeric keys checkbox checked.
Numbers.
Alt plus U. Enable punctuation keys checkbox checked. Alt plus P.
Punctuation symbols.
Enable space checkbox checked.
Spacebar.
Enable modifier keys checkbox checked.
Modifiers
Alt plus M.
like Control Alt, things like that, and Shift.
Enable function keys checkbox checked. Alt plus F.
F1 through F12, basically.
Enable action keys checkbox checked. Alt plus T.
I'm not sure what that does.
Enable navigation keys checkbox not checked. Alt plus N.
I think that might control like Tab.
Enable non-spacing diacritical keys checkbox not checked. Enable echo by character checkbox not checked. Enable echo by word. Enable help push. OK push button.
Yeah, so
Alt
there's
plus O.
your preferences for keyboard echo. Very customizable.
Echo page tab.
I don't like key echo. I used to have it on, and then I was playing MUDs, and I found it got really annoying to hear every single key I was typing. So I turned it off, and it's remained off because it's just a lot better, I find, this way.
Key bindings page tab.
We have key bindings, and I'll spend a little bit of time in here.
Screen reader modifier key, S, combo box, caps lock, shift lock, Alt plus M.
Caps lock, shift.
Insert, KP insert, insert, KP insert, K insert, caps lock, shift lock.
So you got caps lock,
insert, KP insert,
keypad insert if you have a numeric keypad that's numpad 0.
Insert, KP insert. Default collapsed, unbound collapsed, default collapsed.
And so basically, I think you choose a modifier, and then you have the different categories here. And just like with the keyboard commands screen, you can hit shift and right arrow.
Expanded. Perform left click on current flat review item. Caps lock +7. Modified. Checkbox not checked. Tree level 2.
Now,
Command table column header not select. Screen reader modifier key. S. Combo box. Insert. KP insert. KP insert. Perform left click on current flat review item. Caps lock +7. Help push button. Keybind. Perform right click on current.
Oh, I wonder if that lets you change the modifier to use. So basically you have all these commands here.
Perform left click on current flat review item. Default expanded. Collapsed. Unbound collapsed.
Unbound
Expanded.
commands.
Cycle to the next settings profile. Modified. Checkbox not checked. Tree level 2.
Okay, that could be useful. So like if you have multiple profiles, you can toggle between them.
Cycle to debug level at runtime. Pan the Braille display to the right. Quit the screen reader. Modified. Notification presenter collapsed. Modified. Check. Flat review collapsed.
There's a bunch of these, and I'm not going to go through them all. I'm not going to talk about all the things that you can do with Orca because I don't understand it all.
Notification.
But like, let's say...
Quit the screen reader. Modified. Checkbox not checked. Tree level 2.
All right. If you listen to what Orca is telling you, it says there's no keyboard command. So if I right arrow...
Key binding.
Key binding is blank. If I press enter...
Enter new key. Text.
Let's do Orca modifier in Q.
Key captured. Caps lock. You press enter to confirm. The new screen reader preferences. Help push button. Apply push button.
I'll hit
Alt
apply.
Screen reader settings reloaded. Cancel. OK. Key bindings page tab. Tab. Screen reader modifier. Key bindings page tab.
Now, let me actually...
Echo Braille. Echo tab. Enable key space. Not check. Echo. OK. Apply. Return. Screen reader setting. Cancel. OK. Echo page tab. Key bindings page tab.
So there's key bindings. You can customize all the commands that you want. You can modify them. You can make new ones. You can delete them. To delete a command...
Screen read. Key binding. Key binding table column header not select. Default collapsed. Unbound collapsed. Notification present. Flat review. Speech and verbosity collapsed.
If I expand like this...
Cycle to the next capitalization style. Cycle to the next speech synthesizer. Cycle to the next key echo. Change spoken number style. Decrease the speech pitch. Modify. Increase the speech pitch. Decrease the speech volume. Toggle the speaking of indentation and justification. Increase the speech rate. Caps lock plus equal. Modified checkbox checked.
If we left and right arrow to the column with the command...
Key binding caps lock plus equal.
If you hit backspace...
Speech and verbosity expanded. Modified. Checkbox not. Cycle. Speech and verbosity. Change. Decrease the speech pitch. Decrease the speech volume. Toggle the speaking. Increase the speech rate. Caps lock plus equal. Toggle whether to read just. Decrease the speech rate. Caps lock plus minus. Modified check. Key binding caps lock plus minus.
Oh, let me hold down FN and hit delete, which should clear it.
Toggle. Decrease the speech rate. Caps lock plus minus.
Oh, I see.
Command. Key binding caps lock plus minus.
Get rid of this.
Enter new key. Text.
You
caps
press
lock plus
enter.
Key binding deleted. Press enter to confirm.
Yeah,
Selection
so
deleted.
You press enter like you're going to map the command, and instead of typing the keystroke you want, you hit backspace or delete, and it deletes it.
The screen reader preference. Toggle web. Decrease the speech rate. Modified. Checkbox checked.
And that's how you do it.
Help. Can't. OK push button. Key bindings page tab. Pronunciation page tab. Text attributes page tab.
So
general text pronunciation page tab.
The last two things we have in here are pronunciation and text attributes. This is a basic pronunciation dictionary.
Pronunciation dictionary panel. Table. Dog. Bird.
This is something I made a while ago. Let me actually delete this.
New entry push button. Delete push button.
So a tab.
New pronunciation dictionary panel. Table.
And now it's gone.
New entry push button.
Now I think what we do,
N.
so if you hit new.
Pronunciation dictionary panel. Table. Text.
What it's basically wanting is the word or the pattern to look for. So we'll just type, let's type Dalek, D-A-L-E-K.
Dalek.
Now.
Replacement string.
Okay, this is where things get tricky. So once you type the string you want and hit enter, you're put on the list. If you left and right arrow, you'll get the columns.
Actual string Dalek.
So the string that we want to be replaced is Dalek. If I right arrow.
Replacement string.
Replacement string.
Actual replacement string. Actual string Dalek. Replacement string.
And you press enter.
Text.
And you can type what you want it to replace when it encounters that particular word. So we'll just type alien, A-L-I-E-N.
Dialog. Alien. New entry push button. Delete. Help push. Apply. OK. Pronunciation page tab.
So that's the pronunciation dictionary. It's pretty basic. I think it looks for an exact replacement or an exact pattern and replaces it. So probably only useful if you have like specific words that the speech isn't pronouncing right. You would type what you want, type a misspelled version that sounds phonetically correct to make the text-to-speech speak it properly, and then it will do that, but it's pretty limited. I think like the speech dictionaries, say in NVDA, are much more powerful and customizable.
Text attributes page tab.
And finally, for the main preferences, we have text attributes.
Text attributes panel. Table. Size. Speak. Checkbox checked. Mark in Braille. Checkbox checked. Speak check. Attribute name size.
So we have size.
Speak checkbox checked.
I'm going to the right to review the columns. You can speak.
Mark in Braille checkbox checked.
Braille.
Present and less. Mark in Braille check. Present and less. Text.
Present in less. I think you type a number. It's like if I type 5.
Size. Speak. Mark. Present and less 5.
I'm not sure what that is. That might be a timing thing, so it might wait. I'm not entirely sure what that does, but the rest of these are pretty self-explanatory.
Speak. Attribute name size.
If you press Orca F when you're in text, it will read different things to you.
Family name. Speak. Checkbox
So
checked. Mark in Braille. Checkbox checked.
Font size, family name.
Weight. Space. Indent. Underline. Strike through. Justification. Style. Paragraph style. Spelling. Foreground color. Speak. Checkbox check. Background color.
And, you know, there's a whole bunch of these in here. You can specify if you want those to be spoken, displayed in Braille, things like that.
Adjust selected attribute panel. Move. Text attributes panel. Reset push button. Alt+R.
You can reset the current item that you're on to its defaults.
Adjust selected attribute panel. Move to top push button.
You can move things
Alt+T.
to the top of the list.
Move up one push button.
Move
Alt+U.
Up an item, down an item.
Move down one push button. Move to bottom push button.
Move it to the bottom of the list.
Braille indicator panel. Braille indicator. None. Selected radio button. Help push button. Text dot 7. Dot 8. Dot 7 and 8. Dot none.
Braille indicator. I think this is for text attributes. I'm not sure.
Select apply push button. Cancel push button. Alt+C.
There's that. I'm going to cancel out of here.
Desktop. Trash.
Because I don't want to save my settings. At least the ones that I didn't previously save. So that's a quick look at the preferences itself. Pretty extensive. The last thing I'm going to show you is application-specific preferences. And there's a few places where you can do this. For example, if you're in LibreOffice Writer, you can change things. If you're in a web browser, you can change things. Let me show you those two examples.
Shutdown. System menu.
Let's
Capital
go.
S. Place. System. Sound and office. LibreOffice Writer. Trash.
And sorry if you can hear the stuff in the background. That's
Untitled.
not sure what that was. So here I am in a blank document. I can verify this with Orca modifier /.
Caps lock off. Caps lock on. Caps lock off.
Oh, I just realized. Yeah, I think I changed my modifier to insert. Oh boy. I'm going to have to fix that. Yeah, let me fix that real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, yeah, I had to change my keyboard modifier. So yeah, if you go into key bindings, be aware that changing the modifier will change the Orca modifier itself. So be very careful. So here I am in my document here. I can hit caps lock and /.
Untitled 1. LibreOffice Writer.
That reads to the title bar. And yeah, just as an aside real quick before we continue, if you go into the terminal and type Orca-S, that will bring up the preferences window. So if for whatever reason you get your modifier messed up, you can open up a terminal and bring up the preferences window, even if you don't have the correct keyboard key to use to bring it up. But here we are in this program here. I'm going to hold down Control, Caps Lock, and Space.
Screen reader preferences for Office dialog. General page tab.
I think it's saying preferences for S-Office, which is the process for LibreOffice.
Office page tab.
So if I left arrow,
Text attributes page tab.
you'll notice
Office page tab.
there's a special tab here. This is typically what you get when you load application specific preferences. So if I tab,
Speak spreadsheet cell coordinates checkbox checked.
these are settings specific to these applications where Orca has special support, basically.
Always speak selected spreadsheet range checkbox not checked. Table navigation panel. Speak cell coordinates checkbox checked. Speak multiple cell spans checkbox checked. Announce cell header checkbox checked. Skip blank cells checkbox not checked. Spell check panel. Spell error checkbox checked. Spell suggestion checkbox checked. Present context of error checkbox checked. Help push button. Apply push button. OK push button.
We'll hit
Alt
OK.
plus screen reader settings reloaded. Untitled 1. LibreOffice Writer for
So if I wanted to change things in here, I could. Last thing I'm going to do, let's close
alert
out of
warning.
here.
Save changes to document Untitled 1 before closing. Your changes will be lost if you don't save them. Don't save push button. Desktop.
Let's open up Firefox.
Menu. Enter Discord. Firefox web browser. Trash. Mozilla Firefox frame. Search with Google or
Now let's do the same thing here. Control Caps Lock Space.
screen reader preferences for Firefox dialog. Firefox page tab.
Now I do recommend coming in here and changing these for the different web browsers that you use.
Page navigation panel. Control caret navigation checkbox checked.
I would keep this on. I think it makes Orca work better when you're navigating with the cursor or with the arrow keys and things like that.
Automatic focus mode during caret navigation checkbox not checked.
If you know about the settings in NVDA, this basically controls if focus mode turns on when you're arrowing around. So focus mode is basically the opposite of browse mode. It passes the keyboard commands directly to the website or to the web application instead of having them intercepted by the reader, which means you can't do things like jump by headings, links, things like that.
Enable structural navigation checkbox checked. Alt plus S.
This is structural navigation, which is part of browse mode. Obviously, lets you navigate by links with K, headings with H.
Automatic focus mode during structural navigation checkbox not checked.
This is the same thing, except it turns focus mode on and off when you're doing things like navigating by links, edit fields, and things like that.
Automatic focus mode during native navigation checkbox checked.
This is what I have turned on. Native navigation, I believe, refers to like tabbing, which is not a screen reader specific command. So if you tab around, it will dynamically change the mode based on what you're doing. You can hit Orca A to toggle between browse and focus modes, and Orca Z to turn structural navigation, or basically the navigational quick keys, on and off. Excuse me. If you want to control things by yourself, that's how you do it.
Automatically start speaking a page when it is first loaded checkbox not checked. Alt plus L.
I don't like this. I don't want the page to read because it's just too much chatter. So I have this off, but if you want the page to begin reading when it loads, you can turn this on, and this is on by default.
Present summary of a page when it is first loaded, checkbox not checked. Alt plus P.
This tells you like how many links the page has, things like that. If you've used JAWS, it does this by default.
Enable layout mode for content, checkbox not checked.
Layout mode for content, this is similar to use screen layout in NVDA. By default, it will show you how the content looks visually. So for instance, if you have a sentence that says click here to go to my games page, the word here is a link and visually it appears in the same line as the rest of the content. But if you don't want that, you turn this off, and of course things like links will appear on their own lines.
Table navigation panel. Speak cell coordinates, checkbox not checked. Alt plus C.
This is for tables. I turn this off. I find it's very verbose.
Speak multiple cell spans, checkbox checked. Alt plus M.
I think if cells span multiple columns, you can turn this on. It'll tell you.
Announce cell header, checkbox checked. Alt.
Headers.
Skip blank cells, checkbox not checked. Find options panel. Speak results during find, checkbox checked. Only speak changed lines during find, checkbox not checked. Minimum length of matched text. Force spin button. Help push button. Cancel push. OK. Screen reader settings reloaded. Mozilla Firefox frame.
So hopefully that gives you a good idea of the preferences. Let me see if I can
Desktop.
close Firefox. There we go. So hopefully you have a better understanding. Obviously, I can't tell you exactly what every single thing does because I don't even know, and it would require me doing some research. And this is a slightly older, excuse me, a slightly older version of the reader. So depending on when you hear this, things might be different if you're running a newer copy of Orca. But basically, that's what the preferences look like. And as you can tell, it is quite extensive. So, excuse me, and I should really go to sleep here pretty soon. But I hope that helps you. And if you have any questions, comments, things like that, let me know. But until next time, you guys take care. Bye.